Today we bring to you Southwest Boulevard. Southwest Boulevard was one of the first boulevards there was in Kansas City. It all started when it was just two roads, one being the main street of Rosedale, Kansas, when it was platted in 1872 as Kansas City Avenue, and the second called the Rosedale Road or Kansas City Boulevard on the Missouri side. Two property owners named Simeon Bell and Eleanor Taylor Bell provided land to link the two roads in 1887, and the entire road was later renamed Southwest Boulevard, which was located on the north end and starts as 19th Street at Baltimore Avenue in Kansas City, Missouri. It travels southwest, crossing the state line into Kansas City, Kansas at 31st Street, which continues until crossing 39th Avenue. Transitioned to the Santa Fe Trail in 1880 as a two-way commercial thoroughfare between Mexico and the United States.
Mexico gained its independence from Spain in 1821. It kind of opened up trade with Mexico.
Kansas City played a key role by receiving manufactured goods which were shipped by Eastern suppliers on riverboats to Independence, Missouri, and later to Westport, landed in the East Bottoms of Kansas City, Missouri. During this period, many Mexican citizens, especially from the Hispano elite of the Southwest, became principal traders on the Santa Fe Trail. They often partnered with Kansas City shippers to move goods south and west along the trail. Mexico entered a period of great civil unrest from 1910 through 1921. This period was known as the Mexican Revolution. Over 1 million Mexican citizens either died or leave Mexico during this period. Many of these refugees came to the United States, and some came to the Kansas City region on both sides of the Kansas and Missouri state lines. The Colonia Mexicana stretched from Turner, Kansas to Kansas City, Missouri's west side. The Mexican immigrants who came to this region engaged in jobs that were available in agriculture, railroad companies, meat packing plants, garment making industry, and hospitality in the many hotels and restaurants in the area. Because of Kansas City's strategic location and the labor shortages caused by World War I and the anti-Asian immigrant policies of the United States, Mexican workers were actively recruited by companies to work in this region. Many Mexican families settled in Kansas City, Missouri's west side neighborhood near Southwest Boulevard. On July 13, 1951, a catastrophic flood drove thousands of people from communities along the Kansas River and the Missouri River bottoms to higher ground.
Where the Kansas River flowing into the Missouri River, there on the bottoms, overflowed its banks, and many people were displaced from other communities like Argentine, Armourdale, maybe even Turner, and many of them took refuge on the high grounds in the west side.
Many Mexican families took refuge in the west side community of Kansas City, Missouri. Many assistance organizations like Union Cultural Mexicana, the Guadalupe Centers, Mattie Road Centers, and Richard Cabot Clinic attended to the needs of displaced Mexican families. Today, many of the Mexican American families of the West Side have moved to other communities across the metropolitan area on both sides of Kansas and Missouri state lines. But many revere the West Side as home. As the community becomes more and more gentrified, fewer and fewer Mexican immigrants and Mexican American families can afford to live on the West Side. But many of the businesses along Southwest Boulevard have been owned and operated by Mexican and Mexican American entrepreneurs. Now these days, there are many different Mexican and Hispanic restaurants on Southwest Boulevard where you can't find anywhere else. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people go down there. Some of the restaurants down there are La Bodega, Ponak's Mexican Kitchen and Bar, El Patron, Manny's Mexican Restaurant, Tropicana, and Margaritas.